The success of your art isn't necessarily correlated with how good your art is. And I know that sounds like a kind of black-pilling thing to say, but as I keep talking, it'll probably be worse. When I say this, I mean, you can look at SoundCloud, you can look at any spoken word poetry night and see a lot of great and talented artists who are maybe top 1% of their craft who still have no eyes on them. And you might wonder why that is. What's going on there? And the answer is, as an artist, we have all these variables that we play around with when we're making our art. Musicians especially get into this trap where they think that if they keep fiddling around with the variables, try this vocalist, try this hi-hat, try this drum beat, that they'll find the right combination of things that'll make their art get seen because it's so good. And as the years go on and on and on and on and on, this switchboard becomes bigger and bigger with more and more variables to fiddle around with. You can do this for the rest of your life. And you still might not get seen, even if you are creating the best thing that anyone in your field is doing, because your field is so narrow and specific and niche, no one is seeing it. And the way you fix that is you zoom out and you realize there's more than just that one switchboard. Yes, you were right. Life is just a matter of fucking around with variables and finding what combination works. And getting your art seen is a matter of messing around with those variables and finding out what combination works. But you're messing around with the wrong variables. You got to zoom out. It's not just about your craft anymore. Maybe at one point it was, maybe in like the 1700s, right? But it's not like that anymore, okay? There's other switchboards with other variables on it that you're ignoring. One of them is the community switchboard. Who are you making art with? Who are you spending your time around? Is it inspiring for you? Are you making collaborations with other people? Are you doing stuff together that you couldn't be doing alone? Those are all good things to think about. Those are all variables that we don't really mess around with as much as we should. We don't think about those things because we're not trained to think like that. We're trained to think, I got to get better and better at my craft until I'm the best, and when I'm the best, everyone will know me. Not how it works. The other switchboard is marketing. Have you considered making something for someone else instead of just what you think is good? That's a really good exercise, and it's something I do with my clients all the time. It's like a very simple marketing exercise. By the way, this is for people who have made a lot of things already. If you haven't made anything, make something first. Just turn the video off and make anything. It doesn't matter. But yeah, if you've been making a lot of stuff and no one sees your work, then it's because you're not marketing it correctly. And so a good exercise is make something specifically for a community. It doesn't have to be if you're like a part of a game community, make something involving that game, put it on that game community, like subreddit or whatever, or Discord or whatever. That's a way of getting a non-zero amount of eyes on your work. It's a way of getting feedback on your craft. I know, gross. I also don't like it, okay? I don't like marketing. If you wanted to get into marketing, you would have gotten into marketing, right? You wouldn't have like what calls us to be an artist is not I'm going to post this awesome post on this subreddit and get people to see it. No one thinks like that. Well, not a lot of people think like that. But it is something you got to start thinking about. Do you know why? Because here's another devastating black pill. An excellent marketer that is a mediocre artist will beat the excellent artist that is a mediocre marketer. That's just how it is. Don't hate me for telling you how it is. That is just how it is. And so if you're thinking about marketing and you're thinking, ew, probably a good sign. It means that you've got that romantic artistic spirit within you. And now it's time to kill it. No, never kill it. But you have to get over yourself. You have to be able to, if you want people to see your work, you're going to have to learn how to market. If you're feeling resistance towards marketing, you can feel resistance towards marketing in the same way you feel resistance towards making art in the first place. Like there are some people who get blocked up because they think I need to make the perfect thing, or they need to make like an expression of their soul in some way. And yeah, you should figure out how to do that, and you should investigate, interrogate whatever internal circumstances are leading you to not be able to do those things. But if you can do those things and no one's seeing it, you have a different problem now. You have a resistance to marketing, to getting your stuff seen, to making things specifically for other people. And you might think, oh, I can't make anything for other people. I want to make everything for myself because I'm a self-driven, individualistic artist, and I don't want to sell out or make things for other people. And that's a category error. That's yin yang, buddy. Those are the same things. You cannot make anything just for yourself without this idea of being perceived. You also can't just make things for other people without putting yourself into it or without being a little bit selfish about it because it's coming from you. Yin yang. Those are two sides of the same coin. You can zoom in on one of those sides and ignore the other, but it's to your detriment. So chances are, if you're making a lot of stuff, no one's seeing it, you got a marketing issue. Now, when I say marketing issue, I don't mean just blindly post the things you've already made to subreddits that have nothing to do with them and get banned off every subreddit. I say, make something specifically for those subreddits. Apply your craft, apply your tools, apply your work for an internet community. I'm using internet community as an example. It can also be a flesh space community, even better. Well, worse in some ways because the audience size is smaller, but I leave it up to you to figure out what community you're going to target and how you're going to target it. But here, let me give you a personal example. As a spoken word poet, I really thought if I found the right combination of words, the right rhymes, the right expression of my soul, then people would find me, see me. I was playing around with this craft, this craft variable. And it wasn't until I started moving outside of the limitations of my craft that I found success at all, which was I made a specific piece of work for a specific online community. And it wasn't spoken word anymore. I threw a shitty beat on it. So it's not even spoken word anymore. It's rap. I was not a rapper. I moved from spoken word to putting it's basically spoken word with a beat on it. And that's what worked because it made it more listenable. It was for a specific online community. It was about something. This is the kind of stuff that you have to do in order for people to get their eyes on your actual work. It's kind of like earning artist bucks. You got to go, you got to grind, you got to make stuff for other people. Maybe it's not the most fulfilling stuff, but you actually will probably find that it's somewhat fulfilling because you're still doing your craft. And then you have people watching you for your actual art. And that's kind of what you want. If you've built out a world, a really deep, rich, lore-filled world as a writer, and you want people to care about that world, you may have to make a lore-filled world about The Simpsons or something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying here, though, right? Like you have to interface with another form of media that people can find your world through instead of just falling into it. There needs to be something else in addition to it. You can't just, it's not enough to just be an excellent musician anymore. You also have to be a good marketer. And it's not enough to just make music. You also have to, I don't know, have some sort of marketing strategy that is getting eyes on your work, whether it's, maybe it's making a TikTok. Maybe it's inserting your personality into the lyrics more. Maybe it's, I don't know. There's all kinds of variables you can mess around with. Maybe it's working with different musicians and getting access to their fan base, right? Like there's so many things you can do that is outside the bounds of just the craft. The craft's important, but it's not everything. And we lose that. We forget that. We forget that all the time. And that's why I do that exercise with my clients who this is their testimonials, some testimonials for you. Aren't these good testimonials? What's satisfied customers? And that could be you, because I have 2 to 3 slots available now, and you can buy them for $500, and I'll give you deadlines to make art, to make sure that you keep making art. I'll give you marketing advice to make sure that people actually see your art, and I'll give you community advice so that you can create a community of your peers around you, whether you're someone whose art is being seen and you want a community of your peers, or whether your art isn't being seen and you want to hang around a bunch of aspiring people and that energy rubs off on you. Yeah,